Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to edit your watercolor art in Photoshop to make into prints and other products. But before we get started, I do have a video on how to scan your watercolor paintings. So if you want to check that out, click the link in the description of this video, and there's also a card above. So let's get started. Here I have Photoshop opened up with a scan of one of my paintings. So the very first thing I do when I open up a scan in Photoshop is I click Control J to duplicate this layer here, and then I hide this bottom layer, and then I'm going to create a whole new layer. Just click this box down here with the plus, and you want to drag that underneath this layer with your artwork. After I do that, I then, since my artwork is backwards, I'm going to go to image rotation, and then clockwise. And then I like to correct the colors before I get rid of the paper background. So to do that, I'm going to make sure this layer here with my artwork is selected, and then I go to filter, camera raw filter, and then this opens up this camera raw filter application. So I basically only use the contrast because I find when I scan my artwork with my scanner, the contrast is reduced a lot on my scan. So I bump that up a little bit to make it look similar to my original, and then I even bump up the vibrance a little bit and the saturation. I don't want to oversaturate my painting to where it looks like not at all like the original. So my goal here is just to color correct my artwork to make sure it looks as much like the original as I can. And I usually don't adjust the exposure because with my scanner, I did link my scanner below in the description for you if you want to check out what I use. But I don't usually mess with the exposure. So I basically only adjust the contrast a little bit, the vibrance just a little bit, and saturation. And sometimes I do adjust the blacks here. I will make the blacks more dark. I also like to go to detail and then sharpen my image about there. And then I click OK. And then I'm going to make a copy. So to do that, again, I'm pressing Control J. For Mac is Command J. And then I'm going to hide this layer now here. And I'm going to move, you don't really have to do this, but I'm going to move this up here. And then now I'm going to crop my painting. So I'm going to take the crop tool here and try and crop as close to my artwork as I can. And I usually edit out my signature on my prints. So it's okay if my signature is cropped out. This is just a personal preference of mine. If you want your signature in your prints, then you can do that, but I usually don't. Okay, so before we edit out the background, again, I'm going to click Control J, hide this layer, and then I'm going to take this spot healing brush tool here and edit out some imperfections in my art, like right here. There's like a little speck, so I'm just going to edit this out like that. And I like to click Control and then the plus sign to get really close. And then I also like to click down on the space bar, and a hand pops up like this, and you can move around your artwork. So that's what I like to use as well as I edit my watercolor art. So yeah, I'm getting really close and making sure everything looks okay. And then to zoom back out, you want to click Control minus, and there we go. Okay, so now we're going to get rid of the paper background. So I am going to move this new layer right here, this transparent layer underneath my artwork, and I'm going to fill it with black. So I'm going to take this paint bucket tool here, make sure the black is selected, make sure that this layer, this transparent layer here is selected, fill it, and you won't be able to see it because this layer here is on top. But if you hide this layer like this, you'll be able to see that it's black. Okay, and then I like to then select the magic eraser tool. So it's under the eraser here, and you just click down and hold as you click, and this will pop up, and you click the magic eraser tool. And then make sure the tolerance is about 25. It can be 20 or 15 or 30. You'll have to mess with this and see. The lower the tolerance, the less it erases. The more the tolerance, the more it erases. So it's at 25, and I'm just going to click the background. And let's say, oh, it can be erased more. You can click Control Z to go back. And maybe you want to try out 30. Click again. Okay, I think that looks good. So this is the reason why I like to use a black layer underneath here, because I can easily see if like any remaining paper fragments I have to erase. So that's kind of why I like to do that. I am going to now use my eraser. So I'm going to switch to the eraser tool here, and I'm just going to get really close. So Control plus, space bar, hold down, and you can move around. And I like to just erase. So I just erase around my artwork like this. And I also like to have my eraser be very hard, and the size, adjusting the size to where I can get like really into the nooks and crannies of my artwork. So this is just how I like to edit my art. I know that there are more complex ways to do this, like with the pen tool, but I just like to do it this way in Photoshop. So yeah, I find it easy and not too complicated. So I first go around my artwork, getting rid of most of the paper fragments, and then I will go all the way around my art here with a smaller sized eraser and just work around. And this is very time consuming, but it's worth it to make prints of your artwork. It just takes time, so you can do this while watching a show or listening to a podcast or whatever. It's very time consuming, but not that hard to do. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a finished edited art piece looks like in Photoshop. So here I'm just going to go ahead and fill this layer so that you can easily see the scan. So yeah, this is what it looks like. As you can see, I edited all around my artwork. And another trick I like to do is fill this layer here with white. This way I can see what it'll actually look like printed on paper. And when you are done editing your artwork in Photoshop, you want to be sure it's on a transparent background. Here, I actually didn't do this here, but usually I go to image and trim, and then okay, and then it kind of like trims around your artwork. It didn't do it over here because I have some paper fragments still. So let's go around here with an eraser. Okay, and then image, trim. There we go. Now that your image is trimmed, you want to make sure that it is the correct DPI, just to make sure. So you want to go to image and image size, and then make sure it's at least 300 DPI. And then you click OK. And then you go to File, Save As, and you want to save it as a PNG file. And then you click here. I already have it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 here and save. Before you do any printing, you might want to make sure that the file is in CMYK. So you want to open up your PNG file, and then you want to go to Image, Mode, KM, or CMYK color, click OK. And then to actually make files to print, you want to go ahead and create a new document. I'm going to do 8 by 10 inches here, which is a standard print size in the US. So I just click this, or you might have to enter up here like 8 by 10 and then 300 pixels an inch. You can choose the color mode. Most people choose CMYK color. And then you click create, and then you want to drag this, your finished edited scan, and you want to drag that on top like this. Move this back over here. Select this button up here, and this moves around. You can move around layers. So you want to select that and then move this around, and then you can click Control T to make this bigger, to resize it. And then I make sure that it's in the middle, in there. And for these butterflies that I've been painting, I usually like to make them into square prints because I find that square looks better than 8 by 10, but this is just an example. So I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to check out all the other videos I have about making art prints in the description below. And yeah, I hope you found it helpful. If you did, subscribe, like this video, and comment below what you thought of it. Thank you so much for watching.